Hi, I'm Amy. I'm a Master Gardener with the London Middlesex Master Gardeners. And today I just wanted to show you how I transplant lettuce seedlings. There are some things that we always start from seed indoors, like peppers, because the growing season for the pepper is longer than what we can offer outside. So we have to start them inside so that they will mature in time for our frost. And then there's other things that we always seed out in the garden, like carrots, because they don't like their roots being disturbed. So if you try to transplant carrots, they don't do well. There are a lot of other vegetables we plant that you can either direct seed in the garden or you can start indoors. And for lettuce, I prefer to start it indoors just because when it's May and June, sometimes it's hot and dry, and it can be hard to germinate those seeds in your hot, dry garden soil. You have to keep it moist, and it can be difficult. So I started these lettuce seedlings about a month ago, couple weeks ago, and they are very thick. So I need to transplant these into some individual cells so that they can develop into some nice lettuce plants. And I'll let them grow here for about a month, and then I'll transplant them into the garden. So all I do is I fill this tray with soil, and I'm not so picky about the soil. When I do the seeding, the germination, this is with potting soil, and I maintain sterile conditions as much as possible because I don't want damping off. If fungus gets into this soil, it can attack the seedlings and then they die. So this soil, I already have healthy plants, and it's a mixture of sand from the garden, potting mix, and just other soils that I have. So it's nothing too particular. So I just fill the tray, I just brush the soil across the surface, and then with my finger, I just poke holes, and this is to allow a space for the roots to go. So I just use my finger. I'm sure there's a tool that you can use for this. I just use my finger because it's here. So I have all these little holes in here now. And so what I'm going to do with these seedlings is I just gently tease apart a chunk of the seedlings. And this is from lettuce that I seeded last year, or I collected the seed last year, and it's a mixture of all the lettuces that I grew. And I have a ton here, and so I want to pick the strongest seedlings to transplant. So ones with nice thick stems. So if I left them growing at this density, they would become leggy. They'd get really long, and I would get outbreaks of a fungus called botrytis because they would have not much airflow in the seedling tray, and they would get sick, and patches of them could die. So I'm just teasing apart some seedlings. I'm keeping as much soil on the roots, and I'm handling them very gently. And I like to handle them at the junction where the first set of leaves meet the stem. I don't handle them down here where it's just stem because it's really delicate and your fingers can crush the stem, and then the plant will never recover from that. And so I just tease apart these, and you end up throwing out a lot, or you can eat them. Baby lettuce is delicious. So I've got some here. I've got 4 in my tray. And so now what I'm going to do is I just make sure I get the roots nice and straight. I don't want to have a little hole with the roots coiled around. I want to have a nice straight hole, and so the roots can lay straight up and down. And then I tamp the soil around the seedling. And then the next thing is to water these immediately because it's a pretty harsh process to transplant them. And I want to water them so that the plants can start to recover immediately. So that's all you do, and I'll let these grow for a month, and then I'll put them out in the garden, and they'll just take off. So thanks for watching, and I hope you start some lettuce seeds as well.